9 a.m. So you'll stand. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this July 18th Board of Commissioner meeting. First up is public comment, which will be for anyone that's not on the agenda. Is there anyone that needs to come before us? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to Mr. Steve Fears with ARCA search presentation.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to this meeting. I appreciate it. And I'm going to, I understand, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to really condense everything
Okay.
down. I've actually created I'm not going to go through this long PowerPoint.
Okay.
I'm going to go through an abbreviated version.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be impactful. And so can you guys see the monitor behind you? Okay. All right. So let's just say for a minute, you're going to be putting together your 2023 budget, I would imagine. Okay.
Yep.
So you're going to go back and you're going to look at your 2022 or even your 2021 budget. So you're going to go down through your website on your commissioner's page and you're going to look through the different meeting agendas and you're going to search through them. Okay, so what if you clicked here and you came up with a Clinton County Commissioner's website that was free to the public and covered everything from most recent back to 1800s. Okay? And Jerry, what's the earliest book? 1828, something like that?
Actually, Grace will come back.
1841. Okay, so just think for a minute. Okay, the earliest book is 1841, but you want to go and you want to research your most current years because that's what you're interested in. And typically what you're going to do then is you're going to go through and you're going to say, okay, 2021, on your regular website, you're going to go through all the minutes and you're going to go by date and you're going to research. But let's just say for a minute, what if you could just go in here and put in 2021 budget and find every meeting, every paper, every document from last year or from 2021 that has 2021 budget on it. And you want to go through here, and if you look, see, every time I move my finger, it goes across the page, and this is a little synopsis, because I've got the keywords 2021 budget, and everything that's around it in the document is on the synopsis here, so I can kind of get a context of what's going on, and say, okay, oh, this is what I'm looking for, so I click on it, and I can then read it, and, okay, oh, yep, that's what I want. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to add it to my clipboard because I've got other research I want to do to get ready for this meeting. And then I go back, and maybe I want to go, oh, yeah, this document also is relevant, so I'm going to add that to my clipboard too. And then so when you're done, you go to your clipboard, and there they are. And all you have to do is say, okay, create a report, and it's going to download those pages to a multi-page PDF, or you can print it out, or however you want to do it, because over here on the right, you can download it, print it out, save it to a thumb drive, okay? Now you say, okay, we were working on Highway 77, and we're going to have to do some more work on that. Let's see all the documents that have going back to 1967. That's the oldest document, and the newest document is here, in the 2018, okay? So I can go back here, I can look up any keyword and find it in my minutes, because all of these minutes are typed going back to the 20s, okay? And are keyword searchable. Now, where is this at? This is in the cloud. It's not on a server here. It's not something that you have to come into the courthouse to look at. And it's available to anybody if you want to make it free, which most minutes are free, okay? And so this is a quick synopsis of what you can do and what the auditor's office can do for you, if whoever you want to set it up to have you have the research done, okay? Now, what are the benefits of having this, besides being able to quickly find whatever information you're looking for? All right, ArcaSearch, Minnesota is where our St. Cloud is our home base. We have been in this business for 20 years. I've been in the business for 35 years. Okay, I used to have a document conversion company in Rock Island, Illinois, and so this is not my first rodeo. So, ArcaSearch is they're experts in color photography. This is technology I wish I had 20, 25 years ago, okay? And so the importance of that is what you just saw. We take color photos of everything. We convert it through optical character recognition, OCR, make it word searchable if there's text, if there's typed text. And that's the best way to convert to searchable text, all right? And it's also the best way to preserve the original look of your documents, all right? So, who we work with? We work with all offices in the county government. Assessors, auditors, clerks, commissioners. We have over 100 offices that we work with currently that are online and available either privately through the office or privately and public, as far as to the public, either free or these counties have subscription fees where you can charge, all right? Your county officials, like Britt here, and Jerry, are charged with creating, indexing, maintaining, storing, and giving access to the public of all, and protecting your records from the first reporting, grace, okay, into perpetuity, right? Okay, so what's that protection from? It's protection from fire, it's protection from water damage, it's protection from natural disasters, and it's also protection from cyber attack, like ransomware. There's a couple counties in Illinois that got hit by ransomware last year. There was a report that was down for several weeks because their server got hit by ransomware, locked up. You could have a tornado come through like what happened in Graves County in Kentucky at Maysville and wipe out the whole courthouse. All right? So where do you put it? You put it in the cloud. We have servers in what they call a tier 3 data site, which is really an underground bunker with backup power and the ability to stay up 99.95% of the time. So if something happened to the courthouse here, you could go across the street with your laptop at Starbucks and still get on your site. backed up, it's maintained. Your IT department, who we work with for security, doesn't have to maintain it. We maintain it, okay? So that's the first backup. The second backup is we give you, after the project, all your books are digitized or whatever we're working with is digitized. After we're done, we give you backup copies on a hard drive, or 2 hard drives actually, in a plastic case that you can put in a bank vault if you want. Okay? So that's the second backup. It'll give you online public access, which I just showed you. That can be online. Now, how do we do that? We have crews. We have 4 crews right now, and actually building to 6. We can find good people in this day and age. But we have equipment that we built and patented, and we come on site here to the courthouse, and we digitize your records here, so they don't have to leave the courthouse. Okay, and then we process those images and create a website and maintain it for you. 10 minutes.
Thank you. Questions?
Questions?
How long does it typically take to completely digitize documents dating back from 1840? I mean, what are we talking, a year?
It doesn't take very long to actually do the work.
Okay.
Because we've had ARPA and the COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a lot of counties that are on board, and we've got 20 auditors in Iowa alone that want their documents digitized. That's why
Yeah.
we're trying to find more road crews.
Right.
So to get the actual documents digitized, it's a matter of getting it in the queue and getting it done. So I would say a year from now, we would have everything from whoever you would want, because, you know, practically, we want to come here once and
Mhm.
digitize whatever records you
Right.
have, whether it's transfer books for the auditor, or commissioner's record, or council records, or whatever. We want to try to do it at the same time. That's
Makes
the
sense.
most efficient way. And, but just to give you an idea of what, you know, in this case, you don't have to have your bound books cut.
Okay.
Years ago, when I had my business, we had to have the bindings cut and then rebound. And you don't have to do that anymore. If you look up on the monitor here, this is a piece of equipment that we designed and built and patented, and it's for bound books. And so, there's a piece of glass, turn the page, button on the left raises the table up against the glass, so it's nice and flat. There's a 50 megapixel camera up above that takes the picture. There's a laser that keeps it in the gutter that keeps it straight. And now watch this. These are delicate books. They can be very fragile. So we are very careful in preserving those books. All right. The green around it is green screen like the weatherman used.
Mhm.
It's a nice soft dropout, so when it comes up on your computer online, it doesn't have that harsh black. Okay. And so this is some of the equipment that we use when we come in on site.
Interesting.
I had so we received a quote from you for digitalizing 5,500 images roughly, commissioner meeting.
Which
But-
is not all of.
No, which is only 1960 through 2014. So I guess one thing that I would ask is to maybe move that time frame to up until now, quote, including the current ones. I don't see a point in stopping
Right.
8 years ago. We might as well
Right.
look at it all the way to what we have now in terms of getting all of that digitalized. And then what would be the ongoing cost to do this in terms of getting like each monthly
That
or
was gonna be my
semi-monthly
question.
minutes
What do we,
added to
what do
it.
we do after,
Okay, so.
what do we do about next year?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, so Jerry asked me to break this out specifically for commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and make a separate one for council. On the last page of the, page 10,
Okay.
it shows $10,994 is what the cost is to digitize these records, specific records,
The 5,500.
right?
Yep.
And the first year's maintenance fee.
Okay.
Year two going forward is $1,622. And the only reason that would change is if we added a significant amount of documents. I mean, like half a million pages. So if we're adding 10,000 pages, it's not gonna.
Okay.
So you're looking at your ongoing cost to maintain the site is $1,622.
And that allows us to put the most current minutes up to date on there as needed, or as
Right.
time goes by.
Right, so, so right now, you've got, let's go back. Commissioner, meeting minutes. The good thing is, from 2017 to 2022, anything that's in a Word document, Jerry can just give it to us on a thumb drive, or we can upload it.
Gotcha.
We can convert them to PDFs, and we can add them to the library, just like I was just showing you with Dakota County. If you look here, from 2006 to 2021, those were all electronic records. And they just gave it, we just uploaded the images, converted them to PDFs, and then added them to the library.
Okay.
So, and then what we would do on a semi-annual, annual basis is Jerry would send the images to us, and then we would upload them to the site. Keep it current.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do not. Those were the questions that I had.
Okay.
We're on the
I'll
same-
have to read it
same
and look
page.
at it.
Yeah, I think we all value the preservation of our historical records. I think that's important to us, and maybe we just need to sit down and discuss what departments need to be included in this, because I think the program you have is really good. It's more about internally figuring out what we need to prioritize first, and then figuring out how we can work it into the budget, so.
Okay.
But if you could maybe get us the updated just through at least 2021 quote on the commissioner minutes, that we could see that, and I think probably take it back to 1840 as well. I mean,
Okay.
if we're gonna
Yeah.
do it, let's look at everything
Sure.
and get a number, and then we can always shrink it down if we need to.
So I'll work with Jerry and
Yeah.
Grace
Yep.
and get that put together, and I can have that within a week.
Okay, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Rick Campbell with a highway update. Good morning, Rick.
We got done with chip sealing last week. We're just doing some mowing and weed eating and trimming a little bit of brush up. And we got the vac truck back.
Cool.
Got it fixed.
He got it fixed, and I got some good news, and I left it over there. We got a quote for repairing that tank.
Yeah.
And it's only like $8,600 and some change. And I asked the man if we could bring it out this winter and have them fix it, and he said we could. So that's a no-brainer
Yeah.
right there. So we'll have that. We have a really nice truck then once that gets done, which we're still using. We're still using just the way it is. It works just fine, but we're gonna get that tank fixed.
We initially thought that was gonna be significantly higher, right?
Yeah, 90,000,
Yeah,
a whole new tank, and you don't
okay.
have to have a whole new tank. Just cut the stuff out that's rusted out and put all new in. That's all they're gonna do.
Dan will be glad to hear that.
Yeah. So, and Bridge 36 is down. It's been demoed,
Okay.
and they're getting ready to start building Bridge. And I misspoke last time we met. You wanted to know how long it was going to take. And Bridge 36 will be back open in October
Okay.
to traffic. The state won't officially open it until May. And we took bids on Bridge 67 last Wednesday. The state opened bids on Bridge 67 last Wednesday,
Okay.
and they were all too high, and they threw them out. So they're going to rebid again sometime in September.
Okay.
And supposedly what we're hearing, it does not hurt our 100% funding.
Okay.
So that's where we are there. That's about all I have,
How many miles of road did you chip and seal, roughly?
30.
30. Okay.
And we did some conversions. We converted some over. But I was originally going to do 43, and I backed it down to 30. So
Great.
that's where we are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Next up is Liz Stitzel with area plan update. Good morning, Liz.
Morning. I don't have a whole lot, just kind of business as usual on our end. I do have one thing that I just wanted to sort of, I think we were all kind of waiting to hear from and started to come together this morning. So I did have some contact from Cupertino at the very end of last week, and they've sent me a rough schedule of how they plan to start construction, starting today through August 5th, and what's happening where. And we're looking at having a meeting this week, which I believe Bert and one of the other two commissioners you wanted to join in on. I spoke with Wilden, actually right as I was walking in, and I think we're looking at either early Wednesday morning or Friday morning of this week being the best two possibilities. So I don't know if there's a preference from your end. I'm trying to coordinate quite a few different groups here, so I thought I'd at least get a rough read on what seemed to work best. In some ways, Friday morning might work best for us because I think the intent is after that meeting to take the inspectors and go start out on the site with just where they're starting and get a sense of how much they've accomplished this first week, and then what frequency we need to start with in terms of walkthroughs for looking at what's going in. Whereas Wednesday morning, Wilden has a deadline there in the morning, so they can come in to meet, but then they're going to be rushing out. So I don't know if we tried to go for a Friday morning, if that would work for,
I'm in trouble on Friday morning,
okay.
regretfully.
Okay, Wednesday morning, what does that look like?
Wednesday's fine with me.
Okay. And
Josh.
Jordan or Josh, whichever one of you is wanting to,
I cannot commit, so
Okay.
I'll allow Bert to
Yep.
attend, and if I can make it, I will try. But
okay, all right. So then I will take that feedback back, and then I'll be back in touch, and I'll copy all three of you,
Yeah.
and then you can sort it from your end.
If on Friday, I'll be done by, say, 11 o'clock, so after 11 on Friday, I'm available, but from 9 to probably 11, I'm in trouble.
Okay, all right. We'll try to work with it. It's that like puzzle of moving pieces, right? So we'll get there. But I appreciate the feedback, and I did want to let you know that we're getting somewhere with starting to get that to come together and get a meeting, and then they're starting to get started. They're starting initially with putting in their PV piles, which is about 500 posts that get driven into the ground, and then 5 inverter units and 500 linear foot of collection cable. Those are the 3 things that will be worked on this week. So that's a pretty small start compared to what starts to gear up, but that's what we can expect. So,
I get about 2 calls a week, Liz, as you know, so do you, I'm sure.
yep, I do. Yep.
And it will be nice knowing some of what, so we can at least pass it on.
I will forward the schedule that I received, keeping in mind that it's a rough schedule, like there's, this isn't law that if they
Yeah.
change something, as long as they're getting inspections, we're not gonna go, wait, you said you were just doing this. But I'll forward it to the 3 of you, so at least you know what I know in terms of what kind of movement to expect in that area.
I have noticed that in some locations, they have mowed well and taken care of the side ditch in some locations, but in others, they seem to mow very strange. So I don't know if you or Rick have spoke to them about it, or if there's been
I mentioned to them that there were some issues with mowing, and I mentioned an issue with thistles around a particular property to them last week, but I didn't personally have an in-depth conversation about side ditches. I don't know if,
I asked them to mow the side ditches, and they told me last week that they'd started. I hadn't seen where they really started. The side ditches that are being mowed by the farmers.
Okay. I've just
Yep.
noticed in some locations, it seems like they've mowed well and it's okay, and then in others, it like, crossword puzzle.
I did let them know that, the commissioners wanted to sit on that meeting, not because of inspections, but because they wanted to have some conversation about other issues. And Rick, I'd be happy to include you as well, if you want to just have the opportunity. And it may be with a project this scale, one of the things we discussed at that meeting is maybe just having a bi-weekly meeting of the minds, to touch base. It's just regular communication. And if everything's going smoothly, then great. It's a short 15-minute meeting and we're all out the door. But if there's issues, it would give a consistent, dependable time where they and we know that there's going to be
Well,
conversation, and it's not just down to having to make calls in a scattered way to different individuals.
I'm sure, as both of you know, the gentleman on Road 50 is almost a daily or weekly situation.
In fairness, he's very affected,
Yeah.
as well. So I try to be patient with that from our side
Understand.
too,
Okay.
do what
thank
we
you.
can.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah, not a problem. Is there anything else that you need from me? I think that
Nope.
was the main update I had this morning.
Okay, no, that's it.
You know where to find me if you need anything.
Okay, thank you. We have no old business. We'll move on to the new business. We have a resolution 2022-09, which is a resolution to increase the mileage reimbursement rate. So, as we've all kind of felt the brunt of the changing economic situation of inflation, the state's no different, and they had raised their mileage reimbursement to 49 cents, and the county was still at 44. So this resolution would bump our rate up to the equivalent of the state at 49. So I'll open it up for discussion or motion to move forward.
I'm familiar with it, and I'd make the motion that we move forward and increase it to the 49% rate.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. Next up, kind of along the similar lines is, we've all been dealing with the crunch of the fuel costs at the pump. We've tried to be proactive at the county level with budget time and those conversations that department heads have had with council as well as with the commissioners. And we did something similar. I say we, Josh was the only one on the board at the time. I believe it was the spring of 20. Had the foresight to lock fuel in when COVID hit and the fuel futures ended up actually getting to a negative number, but locked it in at a really good price. And so we now have the opportunity to amend our 2022 fuel contract. And just to throw out some numbers for reference, I was working off of roughly, it would probably be around $5 a gallon for diesel or gasoline going into 23. We currently had it contracted at $2.71 for diesel and $2.62 for gasoline. We've been able to, if we accept this amendment, get the diesel locked in at $3.96 and the gasoline at $3.46, which will result in roughly over a $200,000 savings relative to that $5 amount. And I know council was anticipating the price to be double. This will end up only being a 35% increase in our fuel contract. So with that, I would open it up for conversation, discussion, or move forward with amending our fuel contract at the $3.96 for diesel for 2023 and the $3.46 for gasoline.
I think kudos to Josh here, who had the foresight to look ahead previously and give us this opportunity in which we can lock this back in. So I think it was a great idea.
Is that a motion?
I thought Josh would make the motion.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll make a motion to amend our fuel contract.
And I would sure second that.
Yep. All right. Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. Good.
Awesome.
As soon as they get us the contract over, I will sign that to the amendment to accept 396 and 346 for 2023. Yes, Liz?
I think you just answered it in last sentence, I was gonna ask, as of what dates?
Yeah, so our
We were
con-
kind of paying attention to those numbers
Yeah.
here, so as of what date? we would
It'll start January 1 of 23. So
Perfect.
our
And until then, it should still be at the 260.
yeah, correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
You have the envoy.
That was a good move.
Okay.
Years ago.
Next up, we have a change order to our courthouse jailer boiler replacement. The change order is essentially just documenting that the temporary chiller that we added here. So Envoy wanted to have it included as part of the work, although from my understanding with council, they've already additionally appropriated the money for it, so there won't be any additional cost. It's just to kind of put it in documentation that there was work done. So I'll entertain a motion to sign this change order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. Last item under new business is, as many of you are aware, there's been some well drilling going on kind of south and west in reference to potential development and water needs in Boone County. The state reached out to us back in December to have the conversation about these wells. And we've continued to have updates, but just being transparent, we get the information they want to tell us. And so in conjunction with the Frankfort Utility Service Board, they reached out to a legal counsel that is specific to water rights and this type of infrastructure project. And so we've met with Mr. Clayton Miller. Tom has reviewed the contract, and so we have the opportunity to engage him to represent us going forward with the state in terms of any water infrastructure or expansion out on the west side of the county and what that would look like. And so this is an engagement letter for his services in regards to specifically that project. So any questions, comments?
I'm a little unfamiliar with most of that since a lot of that has started, Jordan. One question, and I simply just don't know, but so who's he going to represent? Well, I'm a little curious sometimes when we have a joint situation as to who does that attorney represent. So, you know, if I understand the city's involved.
The Utility Service Board, correct. And it says in here, they will be his first client because they are the ones that engaged him first.
Right.
And so as long as there's no disagreement between the county and the Utility Service Board on this project going forward, he will represent us both. At any time there would be conflict, he would then be the representation for the Utility Service Board, and we would have to find our own.
Okay. And it's equal pay at this point? Are we representing, I mean, are we splitting this?
Split 50-50 in terms of, to this project specifically.
Okay.
So he will keep track and bill for county business related to it as well as Utility Service Board. So I guess in theory, it could not be 50-50 if they're reaching out or utilizing him more often than we are, but he will keep track of specifically, county specific stuff.
Obviously, you see, my concern is, you know, I want to make sure that we have representation, not just the other side. So,
I met with him. I think he's sharp. I think there's a limited amount of professionals in that specific industry that have his knowledge. So he worked on as legal counsel for the IURC for 12 years. He's worked at the SEC in Washington, D.C., so I mean, he brings a wealth of experience. I know the Utility Service Board reached out to a handful of different ones, and there was a lot of conflicts of interest because of the stuff that's happening in Boone County. So, you know, if we want to explore our own I'm open to that. I'm just not sure what direction we're gonna find in doing so.
Well, I'm okay with, if you guys, I mean, obviously you've met with them and done it,
I had the same concerns as you, but I think for the time being, right now we enjoy an incredibly good relationship with the Frankfurt Municipal Utility
oh
Service
yeah,
Board.
I'm not saying, yeah.
Right, so typically I would feel the same way as you, is what I was trying to explain, is that even though you're partners in any venture, you have to look out for yourself first. And so I wasn't surprised that you had something to say about that today, because I said the same thing a few days ago to Jordan. But I think at this point, as long as that relationship remains as strong as it is, we're okay. I'm okay to go ahead with it like this, but at the first sign that we're not, that, we've got the ability to peel out and find our own counsel.
Good.
It is unique. I'm a little hesitant because it's not representing, it doesn't say Clinton County. It says Clinton County Commissioners and Clinton County Council. I don't think the Clinton County Council needs to seek representation for a project like this. That's for the Clinton County Commissioners to transact the business of Clinton County. So I would be okay with it as long as we were able to modify the agreement to say Clinton County and not Clinton County Council.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, obviously we spent a great deal of time lately trying to decide who can and who can't and that kind of thing, and it doesn't make any sense for us to argue against one office and then turn around and allow someone
Support
else.
the other.
Yeah.
Don't disagree.
I will pass along that
Okay.
change and have him amend this agreement before we sign it.
And I know, I am positive that Clinton County Council has the authority to hire their own counsel, but I'm not sure that it's for the purpose of specific projects.
Yeah.
So that would be my only thing. Otherwise, I say we hire Mr. Miller.
And to both of your guys' concerns, I think if we can be proactive in potentially finding our own representation in the meantime as
Okay.
well. If that's a concern that we have in terms of where the allegiance aligns,
Okay.
then, but I think we need something now because it's starting to move a little quicker. And so then we have a Clayton that can represent us. And then if we need to seek our own, we can do that as well.
Obviously, you guys have a better hand in that you have met and feel comfortable, and I've never spoke with, seen, so, I'm just looking at it as black and white at this point.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay with it, you guys do, I just want to make sure that we're represented.
Right.
If there becomes a fight, we need to make sure that we're protected, the county.
Agree.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
That's a motion to approve.
And I would
Motion to approve, subject to the changes we recommended.
Yep.
I would second that amendment and change.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Motion carries 3-0. I will have him change it and get us a new copy to.
Thank you.
Department heads. I see a few here. Do we have any that want to come to the podium first? Sheriff?
It's with the Rich Kelly Sheriff's Office. It's for HR, and I've had a person reach back out that had raised a complaint last year, so with the new company and everything else, I forwarded them that, talked to Britt earlier this year and forwarded him information. I'll re-forward you the information and see, because they're a little upset that they haven't seen any, they haven't even been talked to with their complaint that they filed or had filed with me, and then I forwarded it on to the last company. This company, they have the information, haven't heard anything from them, so I will let them contact the company or contact you, Britt, from this point forward.
Have them contact me.
Okay,
And then, and I'm sorry, I don't recall
okay.
this being sent.
Yeah, no problem. And I will send that person to you, and that way they can move forward with it. But as them bringing it to me, I forwarded it on, and I would like to be out of that loop. So I'll leave it with HR, and I'll have them contact you direct. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
Renee?
I hope this week
to offer our last two positions. I've done some interviews and had two people in with job shadows, so I do hope to offer our final two positions to two of our candidates sometime this week. So I hope to get that, get back rolling. And then I also wanted to let you know, several months, it's been a few months ago, the utility board, I had met with Todd Corey and Phil Farrell, and they had decided to try using an actual call center that several other utilities companies use, and that would alleviate all of that call volume coming to us. And we've had some back and forth, issues trying to get that squared away. And I think it's working better for them now. But Todd called me last week. As you know, the city had always paid us $36,000 a year for taking those calls. And they also realized we're still going to get some calls, or we're still going to have to contact the call center, if fire needs utilities or whatever. So he asked if I felt like $12,000 a year, giving us $1,000 a year would still be sufficient for handling those calls, and I felt like it would be. So he asked me to send him the original contract, which was from 2009. And so he will get that back to me, and then I told him it would need to be, with the commissioner's signature as well as then the utility board. Previously, I think it was commissioners and dispatch board and the utility board. So I said it just needs to be between the commissioners and utility board. So once he gets that back to me and I've looked over it, and then I will forward it to you and then bring it before in a meeting.
Okay. I think $1,000 a month.
Yes, yes.
So do they still utilize the radios? I mean,
Pardon?
Do you dispatch and talk to them over the radio anymore?
Very little, no. So
Interesting.
before, if,
Yeah.
utilities were needed, we would contact their on-call. Now we contact the call center. And then the other thing is, we don't get some people still will call on our admin lines, but at 4 o'clock they would forward their line to us, and we would get, so if there was a power outage, we would get
Sure, yeah.
calls or,
I
whatever.
remember those days.
Now, those calls now, it's kind of like Duke, when I have a power outage, it goes to a call center. And so that alleviates a lot of those calls coming to us. But, so we can, if there is a true issue and we're not getting with the call center, we can still call direct if we need to the on-call person.
Yeah.
But typically,
But I
we go
meant
through
once
the
they're
call
out
center.
on the site, do they have contact with you at all? I mean, like you
They
used to,
still
just for
have
safety's
radios,
sake?
yes, they
Okay.
still have radios, we can still communicate with them if they
Okay.
need anything, so yes. And I assured, when they talked about going to
Yeah.
this, I assured them,
Yeah.
we are still there. I mean,
Sure.
my staff and their staff, have a good relationship, and we would always check on them, so, we do still have that capability of communicating to them.
It sounds like this has freed up some time to focus on some other areas within the department and to handle
Yes,
more
because,
emergent calls rather than.
Yes,
some
yes,
of the-
and we're still going to get some of those
Yeah.
calls, and we realize that, but, during a power outage, we are inundated with calls, and the majority, it's not an emergency. They want to know why the
When's my
power's
power
out,
coming?
and,
Yeah.
we can't keep up, because usually if that's the case, we've either had an accident or something typically that we're busy with as well, so, but I just wanted to let you know that, heads up, and so I'll bring that, when I get that back, I'll bring that before you.
Okay, very good.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna head back. so.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
You, Renee?
Anyone else? Ray?
Hi. I guess I'll go to the podium first.
Morning, Ray.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Today I just have an annual maintenance agreement that I need signed, please, from Boyce. This is our check writer,
Okay.
okay?
I
Any
will-
questions on that?
No, I looked fine to me, so I'll entertain
Okay.
them. It looks like just one signature.
One signature is needed. It's a duplicate, one for me and one for them.
Okay. Is it my signature or yours?
Whatever you guys want.
Okay. Well, I'll sign it. So we'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to read it real quick or look at it.
Yes.
Are you familiar with
It
this?
was, yeah, it was on the drive. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not see this.
Yeah. How's everything else going?
Good,
Good,
thank you.
good.
Have you seen this, Tommy?
I've had it for several years, it's not.
It's the same-
anything.
same.
Yeah.
Same one
so-
as last year?
Annual renewal.
Yeah.
All right,
Motion.
So moved.
second then.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to sign the voice system maintenance agreement.
Not a lot.
I mean, I would have signed it, but I wasn't sure.
Thank you.
Understood.
So
There we go.
At the beginning of next year, so if you guys, just throw that out there.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to commissioner reports.
I
Have
have
any-
none. No.
I really have none for this board.
Okay, I have a couple things. It's been mentioned before, but got confirmation. AT&T received the next level broadband grant from the state for approximately $337,000. They'll additionally invest roughly $1 million. This is in Michigan Town, so it should provide the opportunity for high-speed internet, fiber to 300-plus residents in Michigan Town. So kind of one of the larger broadband investments in the community, and hopefully it'll open up the door for some more.
That's awesome.
Second thing is I attended the community day at the airport, and I just kind of want to mention that, man, that the airport is an asset that a lot of people in our community don't see, and just the infrastructure we have in place. And it was a good event with a lot of people attending it the few hours I was there. So I think the people that put it on were really good, and just in the future for everyone to have the opportunity to go out there and see that, because at least for me, I don't get to be around airplanes too often, and the value that that industry probably provides to our community is huge. So with that, we'll move on to claims. We have claims dated July 8th in the amount of $12,519.96. Claims dated July 15th in the amount of $2,511.47. Biweekly claims dated June 18th in the amount of $1,034,588.42. And court claims dated July 18th in the amount of $37,109.40.
Motion to approve claims.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0 to approve claims. Next, we have payroll on July 1st in the amount of $451,193.89.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0 on payroll, and there's no minutes. So is there any other business that needs to come before the commissioners? Seeing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.